Podcasting from Gowanus, Brooklyn, New York. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Good morning for all of you out there listening, whenever you choose to listen. It could be good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you very much for the support, and thank you very much for the listens. For you guys out there on YouTube who can see all this, you can see definitely it's morning. Most of the time I'm out here in the morning. For you guys on the podcast, on the audio, well, you could probably hear with the birds chirping. That usually signifies it's early in the morning and they're out here with me, singing good stuff. What is your comfort? What is your comfort that you go to? Or I should say, what is your coping mechanism? That's probably a better title I should stick with. We usually cope with things as just a means of dealing with something that's usually could be oppressive, could be something that could be depressing, it could be something that could be very stressful. It's just something that we just go to, comfort foods that we go to, coping mechanisms that we develop. What I understand about it is that it's usually something, in a sense, it could be a survival tactic that we go to. And not necessarily we have a fight or flight where we need to be going and ducking, dodging for our lives, but it could be something that we develop, that we go to just to deal with certain things internally, deal with certain things externally, other people, situations. You get my drift. Well, I'm just going to drop down, of course, some statistics about the perils of having comfort things or coping mechanisms unchecked. This is taken from AmericanAddictionCenters.org. About 38% of adults in 2017 battled an illicit drug use disorder. That same year, 1 of every 8 adults struggled with both alcohol and drug use disorders simultaneously. Now, we always know and hear about people who battle with drug addiction and even alcohol addiction. These are things that are usually talked about. But the things that people usually don't talk about as much because they feel it doesn't give as much damaging properties. Sex and sugar. From theaddictioncenter.com, this is the source I'm getting these statistics from. 75% of Americans eat an excess amount of sugar. When someone has sex, they can feel the rush of endorphins flooding their brain, similar to how some drugs trigger the release of dopamine. Isn't that fantastic to know? A lot of us go through life not really realizing the things that we adhere to, the things that we practice, can actually be very damaging to us. So it's not just about the cigarettes, it's not just about the alcohol, it's not just about the drugs. We have to think about the food with the salts and how we love the taste of things, especially here in America. Sugar and sex, in my personal opinion, are one of the biggest and deepest addictions people can actually encounter. And it's hard to shake that. It's really hard. And of course, there are health implications with that as well. When people usually cut sugar out, certain types of sugar or all sugar, their health changes for the better. And the thing about sex, a lot of things can spark that off with sex. A lot of people who actually went through a lot of childhood trauma can utilize sex as a means of escape. And it's not just sexual abuse, but that's one of the most prevalent, of course. And then we have different things in life where it's socially acceptable to do certain things, sex, with cigarettes, with alcohol. But then some people just turn to these things because it's how they cope. The problem is the coping mechanism now turns into a habit, and that habit just keeps them in survival mode because they feel they have nothing else to turn to. And I'm not going to get really deep into all of these statistics and other types of examples, but you've been living on Earth for long enough. You get what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. We have to be careful with our coping mechanisms not being the go-to, because what that does now, it replaces reality. It replaces the proper and healthy mindset that you have to be in to actually take care of life, take care of business. It's one thing to deal with people and situations in life. It's a whole nother thing when you don't know how to deal with yourself. And that's where a lot of these coping mechanisms and a lot of these comfort things, comfort foods, comfort actions, and even lifestyle choices, you have to understand that many of us don't know how to deal with ourselves because we don't know ourselves. And I'm always going to say that in order for us to know ourselves, we have to know where we come from. We come from Elohim, Creator, the Most High, God in the most basic of terms. Once we know properly where we come from and what God, Elohim, our Creator, our Father is all about, and we can figure out quicker what we're about. And then once we know we're solid in ourselves, we're not going to turn to certain things to fill a void that needs to be filled. We're not going to turn to people to fill a void. What we can do ourselves, we can bolster ourselves. We can still enjoy sex. It's made to be enjoyed. It's not in the way that we do it. We can still enjoy sugar, just not in the way we think it is. We shouldn't even really be dealing with alcohol or drugs at all, period. So we wake up, we enjoy, we have that endorphin rush from actually enjoying life and accomplishing things and fulfilling things and actually making things tangible with your own hands or thinking of something and putting that thought, that vision, that goal, that drive inside of you, that talent and gift that we all have, put it out there. The more you do it, the more you're going to distract yourself from all of these harmful comfort and coping mechanisms as a survival tactic, and then you're going to start thriving. The goal is to always thrive, not survive. That's all I got today. I'm trying to drop these quick little gems, these jewels. Anyways, if you want to hear any more of my content, you feel free to visit my website, which is www.brooklynbaritone.com. I am also on YouTube under Brooklyn Baritone. Make sure you subscribe and hit that subscription notification button. You can find me on LinkedIn under Corey Ashley. I am also on Instagram and on Facebook. You can always find me as well on the Google Play Store and the Apple iTunes Play Store. That's all I got for today. Thank you very much for listening. I want you guys to be blessed. I want you guys to know that you will love. That's why I'm trying to spit this knowledge out here with you. And you'll hear me next week. I'm out.